in thousands of Bay Area homes.
Chief investigative reporter Tony Kovaleski is here with the details. And Tony, you've discovered there's been really a long history of problems.
There have, yes, Raj. It's supposed to make everyone safer, but this circuit breaker has a long history of failing. For decades, the Consumer Product Safety Commission has known about the problems, but there has been no recall.
It lit up cherry red.
He's a master electrician.
And it lit up that crawl space like the gates of hell. It could have killed me.
Remembering a morning back in 1979, working a crawl space under a Bay Area house.
I had to roll and approach that panel on my hands and knees through the small opening from the crawl space and shut off. And with the panel on fire and spitting flame on my face.
No normal person could have done that.
Breaker, a Federal Pacific stab lock breaker.
I've seen so many fires. I've seen so many places burn by these panels. It's frightening to me every time I see it over and over again.
Circuit breakers are designed to prevent fires. When working properly, they stop the flow of electricity following excessive demand or a short circuit. Today, Federal Pacific circuit breakers are in millions of homes nationwide, inclling hundreds of thousands of Bay Area houses.
Very common for me to go out and do an estimate on these stab lock circuit breaker panels, and then they don't do anything. They just use the bid for leverage to get the seller to drop their price.
Jesse Ehrenstein is an expert on Federal Pacific circuit breakers. He's an engineer. He spent more than 20 years researching the problem.
Realtors tell their clients that they don't really need to do anything,
against the now defunct company.
There's no
that the breakers are fine.
And no dispute as to the fact that they're defective.
I've even had realtors tell me, oh, they don't care about those.
And a number of other credible labs all proved Federal Pacific breakers are not reliable.
Most recently by a top producer on Skyline Boulevard at one of her listings.
We had a Federal Pacific circuit breaker tested at this lab in Berkeley. It's a 60 amp breaker, the same as you find in many homes.
Supposed to shut off immediately.
It's rated to handle.
60 amp breaker is 142.3 amps on it. It's supposed to shut off immediately.
And there's smoke coming out of the breaker. There's a definite smoke coming out.
The lab cut away some of the plastic siding so you can have a closer
look. What they should have done was create a short circuit, and that would have had the breaker jam and the wire start to burn in half. But
it's smoking and it hasn't tripped. Why not?
Because
that would have been too dangerous.
The mechanical mechanism that is supposed to be tripping the breaker is stuck.
It raises many questions. How can a defective circuit breaker pass federal inspections? How did it comply with
falsified their testing
and receive this UL
with
stamp
remote control levers inside the body of the breaker, up hidden underneath through the bus bar.
He was cheating on the testing and applying the label to
that was evil.
Product that was defective.
It was evil to cheat. It was evil to tell people they could manually shut the breaker off. It was evil that they weren't forced to recall the breakers.
SEC filing from the company that purchased Federal Pacific. Look closely. It reads, UL listings on circuit breakers made by Federal Pacific have previously been obtained through the use of deceptive or improper practices. According to this respected expert, Federal Pacific tricked government inspectors by using a hidden remote control to force the breaker to trip if it was not tripping properly.
They represent an abnormal hazard and they should be replaced.
And take a look at this
biggest hazard when a short circuit occurs and the breaker jams and then the wire and the house or the business starts to burn, which I've seen many times happen in front of my face.
Instances of failures with the old Federal Pacific electric secondary distribution panels. And it goes on to say, failure of this old equipment has caused delays to BART train service and created potentially unsafe conditions. BART replaced the Federal Pacific equipment.
So we take all the breakers out of it, run the wires over here, new breakers. That's the story.
And homeowner Daniel Schmidt also decided to remove Federal Pacific from his home's electrical system, removing the risk from his East Bay home.
I know it's going to be safer.
See that the guy who put the panel in, Ron Price, signed his work.
So this breaker is so hot that it's smoking. It will not trip.
You cannot run the risk of having breakers that might malfunction.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission tested the federal
For every
breakers
estimate I've
back in
done,
the 80s, and legal challenges then
do you know how many
followed.
people
The
have
CPSC
chosen
never
not to
forced a
replace these
recall.
breakers?
Some believe the CPSC did
At
not
least,
have the budget for that legal
50%.
fight. Now, we spoke with a Bay Area attorney representing the defunct Federal Pacific Company. She declined a request to comment on the investigation. Now, this is interesting. Jesse Ehrenstein believes failures with Federal Pacific circuit breakers are responsible for 2,000 fires
I think it's more like
nationwide each year.
4,000 fires.
By fire departments because
Most
they
people
don't
die
drill
by
down that
smoke
deep.
inhalation,
Okay, so
but
I
some
know
by
the circuit
burns.
breakers are in my house, but how can I figure out if those are this Federal Pacific ones, though?
Well, I brought this along to show you. This is a Federal Pacific circuit
That's a
breaker.
stab lock breaker that I gave him, and I gave him the panels that he used in the investigation.
Very beginning. Also, it'll have a stab lock. It may say and have that label there. Now, we have put together a video demonstrating with an expert
video of me.
who will take you through step by step to check to see if you have a breaker like this made by Federal Pacific in your home. You can find it at our website at NBCBayArea.com. So, something to take a close look at.
Yeah.
Many, many homes in the Bay Area may have
Very
these
simple
inside.
video.
It's definitely something you want to go outside and look at. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. A lot of people will be checking. If you have a tip for our investigative unit,